Welcome back to another episode of Green Disruptors, Scaling the Future. Today's conversation challenges something that we've accepted for decades, that cleaning polluted water requires chemicals, heavy machinery, and massive capital. But what if the answer has been in nature all along? My guest today, Darrell Liski, is the co-founder of Embiorganic Technologies, and he's commercializing a bioorganical treatment system that uses adaptive microbiology to clean lakes, wastewater, refinery sites, and more without killing entire ecosystems in the process. We talk about harmful algae blooms, dead lakes, the skepticism engineers have towards biotech solutions, and what it really takes to bring something this disruptive to the market. If you care about water, soil, climate resilience, or just love hearing how deep tech startups push through resistance, this one's for you. Hope you enjoy. Hi, Darrell. Thanks for joining us on Green Disruptors today.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Well, tell us where you're talking to us from.
I am actually talking to you from Canada. I am in the interior BC, British Columbia, about 3 hours east of Vancouver.
Yeah, I hear it's really beautiful up there.
It is nice, and we've had a great fall, and we're doing really well in terms of snow or anything like that. Our lake doesn't freeze, so it's a great place in Canada in terms of where you want to live year round. It's kind of a biased statement, but that's
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's important to love where you are. So, well, you came on today. You came on to talk to us about biotreatment. So, tell us a little bit first about you, and then the company.
Absolutely, I can do that very thing. Let me start with myself. I guess that is where you're going to edit all this stuff. For myself, I've been an entrepreneur all my life. In terms of people call serial entrepreneur or not, I've had some good things, some bad things as far as business starts, and that's just the typical stuff. And I had sold out everything in terms of what I was doing back in 17, thinking, okay, maybe that's enough, but no, it wasn't. And I dove back in because I don't know, I didn't want to fade away, I guess, or whatever that might be as an entrepreneur. And what I ended up doing was latching onto something that has turned into something more than I'd ever dreamed it would be, as far as the efforts and energy that it would take to get it to market, for one, and to get your head around it. And that's the company that we founded. My co-founder, Rod Dickerson, and I met back in 2018. And I was enamored by all the things that he had accomplished in terms of microbial solutions for eco-struggling industries. And what he had developed was a process that I was able to help productize and then commercialize into what we have today. The company we founded is called Embiorganic Technologies. And what it does is provides a biotreatment service for eco-struggling industries that is affordable and scalable, and that has been the challenge for any kind of biological solutions for industries, whether that is municipals or industrials or and the like, I guess. And there's farming, ag, and there's a number of other industries that we impact on too.
So help us understand the problem a little bit better. So when you say they're eco-struggling, like what is the issue, and how is it affecting their business model?
Well, today it's growing more so swelling, as we call it, or I would call it. The marketplace is swelling with people who are saying enough's enough. They're looking for environmental safety in terms of the world that we live in, and making sure that we are handing down or passing off to our grandchildren and great grandchildren. I got a picture of my grandchildren right in behind my computer here, so it just kind of reminds me, why I'm in it on a day-by-day basis, because it's heavy slugging. Um, there's a change happening, and or is a mandate that is increasing, and that is for being responsible, ecologically responsible to our world and to our community. So, a truly sustainable solution, meaning it is, it's for people, it's for the planet, and of course, it's for prosperity. All those three things combined make a truly sustainable solution, and that's what people are looking for. And when I got a hold of this technology, um, and could see the impact that it can have, because nature has been around by design, for billions of years. I'm elaborating a little bit, but it's been around for a long time in terms of what it's capable of doing, and man has taken his own run at things and
Yeah.
really messed things up.
Yeah.
So,
Because, I mean, the old way, I guess, depending on which, what sector you're in, is, dump your waste into the lake or to the river, um, or use chemicals to solve these problems, right?
yes.
So tell us how the solution is different and why it's so much better, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely, and you're right. If and not to get well, the word is spreading in terms of the ecological ticking time bombs, as you'd say,
Mm.
that are out there. If people really knew all the impacts or the potentials of these things happening, there would be a much more forceful, stand in terms of let's
Yeah.
get these things cleaned up. So that's there in terms of that. In terms of what has happened before, and say, yeah, can you fix this problem or that problem? Uh, yes, that's been done before in terms of either a mechanical solution and or a chemical solution. So, uh, case in point, the lake, your favorite lake, or perhaps the pond or lake that you're backed onto, and through the summer it turns into a green pea soup, and especially in the southern part of the country where
Hmm.
it's a lot of high temperatures and that, and so nobody likes that. Well, I don't, anyways, but
It doesn't look nice,
well, it
for
doesn't
one.
look good at all. And of course, then there's notices about, well, you can't swim because the toxins that are being released into the water um, are not good, and can cause death, in animals and
Jeez.
people.
Yeah.
And so there's yes, you can go out there and you can use a copper sulfate, and that will kill the cyanobacteria. That's the blue-green algae. That's the
Hmm.
stuff that the harmful algae blooms and the things that you hear about in the lakes, and that'll kill it. For sure. Boom, it's gone. It'll sink, and what ends up happening is that um, that chemical that you use kills indiscriminately. So it kills the whole ecosystem of your
Yeah.
lake. So you use it enough, you'll soon have a dead lake. And the only way that you can fix that, you know, it is a symptom of our current practices in terms of the condition of our lake is a symptom of our current practices in our farming, in our
Yeah.
land uh, uses and or treatments. And a lot of those nutrients, excess nutrients, and other things that have impacted the soil, they all run into our lakes and ponds. And so that's where conditions exist. But the uh, the treatment that we would provide for a surface water, for example, at scale and affordable, is all biological. It's all nature, and nature it shows up and um, does its balancing techniques. It's balancing it. It will actually amongst a symbiotic group of bacillus is what we use.
Hmm.
Microbiology. They will exchange parts and pieces of themselves to make them the most efficient at survival and growth. and balance the water column and work to decrease the sediment in the lake. And the problem is that our treatments of the land and that they all kill the soil microbiome. That natural leaching or transfer of microbiology, the right stuff, into our lakes and ponds doesn't happen anymore. And so then we have this excess nutrients, they call pollutants and that kind of stuff. So that stuff gets in there, and the cyanobacteria, which in a healthy water column, there's always an amount of cyanobacteria, but without the other bacteria there to keep it in check, it thrives. It thrives to a point where then it's prevalent. It's changing the color of your water. You have harmful algae blooms on the top. And the trouble with using a chemical or a mechanical solution for that is that when you disturb it or kill it, it releases the cyanotoxins. The cyanotoxins is what is it does a number of things. Cyanotoxins, this is a little bit long, sorry Megan.
That's okay.
The cyanotoxins are not good. Those are the neurotoxins, liver toxins, all those things that can actually kill you, right? And so all that stuff gets released anyways, even though the water looks clear, but no, all the cyanotoxins are still there. And so they'll settle into the sediment. But then of course, if you're going to go swimming in there, you're going to disturb it all, and it's all going to still be there, and it'll just build up.
Yeah.
When we've proven already that our microbiology, our consortium microbiology, will go after the cyanotoxins. It will clean all that.
That's awesome. So it kind of sounds, maybe this is a silly comparison, but it kind of sounds like when you take probiotics and it gets your gut microbiome where it's supposed to be, like you're doing the same thing for lakes.
Absolutely, and that's exactly it. And it's a good point. The consortium that we use, it's a bacillus, and if you knew what you're looking for, you'd be able to find it in your probiotic section of the health store.
Cool.
Yeah.
So tell us about your go-to-market strategy and how you made this both scalable and affordable, because you mentioned how challenging that was.
Well, boy, that's a tough one. Our go-to-market strategy has been a bit complex. It has been a challenge in terms of where we launched out. My co-founder Rod Dickerson had built a patent, some consortium and techniques for using in municipal wastewater in that industry. And his success was marginal in terms of what he was up against. And
as far as adoption goes, or
what I mean by that is that the headwinds of change were too strong. And when I came across him, he got unceremoniously displaced from that company, and he further went on and developed this process which we have commercialized into our microbial generator, which generates adapted microbiology at site in high concentrations and high volumes at a price point that is indisputably the best and what you need in order to accomplish the things you want to do at site in the world, in the real applications. That I don't know how else to describe that, but anyway.
Well, yeah, it's a box, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And do you just plug it into a power source and let it shoot the stuff out, like in simplest terms?
Exactly. So we're adapting our microbiology on an ongoing basis, and that's the thing with our other competitors. They're not doing. They will show up with, their lab grown microbes and dump them into whatever they're going to treat. So our go-to-market strategy really, we launched out into municipal wastewater because it is the toughest, without question, in terms of dealing with all the contaminants that are in the wastewater. trying to make your pumps, robust enough, or the right pumps, or the right flow, and all those kind of things that are necessary. So the reliability of the generator has grown 100-fold since when we first launched out our prototype in 2019, or probably 2020, right in the middle of COVID.
Great, yeah.
And so going through all that stuff has been challenging. COVID was challenging, and all that, to the point where we were out in the marketplace in municipal wastewater in 2021 with a couple locations, one we still have today. And they definitely love us and our ability to do all the things that we can do in municipal wastewater biologically.
So what was the initial value proposition with them? I mean, is it just the fact that you can do what they need done for a lot cheaper, or are they looking to solve multiple problems?
Yeah, our whole business model, Megan, is based around a needs based. So it's consultative sales, and then collaboration. So we're not there to just, hey, here's my coffee cup, or here's a
Yeah.
bag
Here, go
of,
plug this in. Bye.
yeah, and then call us if you need more. That's not how we work. So they're looking for, I've kind of put that into a framework. They're looking for that to help them navigate the technology uncertainty, because they've had others that have come before and not perform so well when you're talking about biotreatment, bioaugmentation. So they've come before, and they have some technology that's in place already, whether it's mechanical or just simple, facultative lagoons, or depending on what industry you're talking about.
Sure.
So they want to know, okay, how does it work, and but even above that, they want to know how you're going to make their day better. They're going
Yeah.
to, what is their problem? This is my problem, and how are you going to solve it? And all that kind of stuff is important. But it's important that how are they going to weather through all this? And we walk through that with them all the way through the whole process. And collaboratively, we're still on a meeting with our clients on a regular basis, every 2 weeks, or every month, type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's we have to work with them to figure out the challenges, because even though you're talking municipal wastewater or surface waters or industrial clients, they all have their own. There's some unique common things about
Sure,
them, but
yeah.
they all have their own unique problems that they're having to deal with based upon what they're doing, or what people in municipals, or what people are putting down the drain.
Yep.
In what industrials, in terms of, they all have different process waters in terms of what they are processing, and of course surface waters are unique in themselves too, because they have different inflows and outflows. And ag is a whole nother world. We're just waiting. That was one of the reasons I really wanted to get into ag, was that being having some background, helping out on my uncle's farm. We're a grain
Cool, yeah.
farmer, and raising horses and cattle and all that stuff. So the farmers are in a tough spot, put it that way. In terms of, okay, yeah, I understand the regenerative thing and all that kind of stuff, and I know, but I got a mortgage to pay, and I got to produce a crop. Okay,
And
so
thin margins and
yeah,
climate challenges, and yeah.
oh, it's huge, and so we're building out a plan for that, but we're not there yet. But they're all looking for that trust. We're building the performance outcomes that they can trust, and that's what our eco-struggling industries want. They want to be able to trust the results, and so that's kind of our collaborative approach. If you can make
Yeah.
sense of that.
Yeah, it does. So
Okay.
let's kind of just hone into the current moment here in end of 2025. What would you say that the current maybe bottleneck is?
In 2025, our bottleneck, specifically to our startup, has been um, the build up of data sets and use cases so that people understand that when we say we'll do this, that, and that,
You've got the
we can
proof.
impact their sludge. We can get rid of the odors. We can do all these things microbially. Um, they want to say, okay, show me what you've done, or tell me or just send me all your data sets. So that has been the challenge for us. That's our real bottleneck. We through the municipal uh, play, we've really increased the robustness of it. But now we're building, a custom, our generator, our standard one, the heart of what we built is only, it's a small 10 square foot footprint, 4 feet wide, 3 feet
Mm-hmm.
high. So now we're building out EBS, our DI Pro, which is a 40-foot container that has controllers and multiple tanks, and we're treating old refinery sites with leaching hydrocarbons. So that's where we've grown to, where we were starting with dispensing 800 liters, or about 200 gallons per day, to now out of one unit 100,000 liters per day.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that is uh, taking us to new areas, and so I'm not sure. I get a little lost of where you
No,
wanted me
yeah, that's okay. That
to
you answered
answer
my question, and
the
I'll have a
bottleneck.
follow up one.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that makes sense though. Just being
yeah,
able to have the proof with the
yeah,
numbers, but
exactly.
there's still, you know, early
Well, the
adopters
engineering
to this.
community, and rightfully so, they've got client bases that they want to provide expertise, and in terms of what they recommend or build for them, or design for them, and so we're working on that the engineering specification, uh, so that they can better understand our impacts and what we can do. So, that has been kind of one of the, I guess, bottlenecks, and two, as far as
Hmm.
that, up against that. So building that data set and the use cases has been really important for us to do. We have a number of beachheads, and some of those beachheads we're now taking a lot of ground. And it's not so much that we convince the engineers with our, hey, here's all our data set. No, we have launched out with uh, a, uh, a paid trial. We were able to get the financing with Isle Utilities, getting a paid trial, and that provided them the assurance that, or the comfort that, okay, well, it's not going to be cost them anything. Hey, they've had this problem for years. What I'm talking about is a pulp mill that is a water reuse system, and they were dealing with these struggles since inception, really. And so we
Hmm.
were able to solve those problems for them. And that was through a collaborative approach all the way through. They've signed on for another 3 years of service. But that having that upfront comfort in terms of them not having to pay for the service until
Yeah.
we can do that, we can actually accomplish what we said we can accomplish. Now we're seeing more and more engineers and or referrals, because we provide treatment as a service. We don't sell the equipment. We provide it as a service all the way through. So their capital costs are quite low, to zero.
Because they don't actually have to pay for. Yeah, that would be a huge cost savings if you don't have to
Absolutely.
install the equipment.
Absolutely. Exactly.
Hmm.
And a lot of times what we can do, and we try to do all the time, is the money that we're going to save them will more than pay for our service. So
Hmm.
they're in a benefit. So
It's a win-win.
it's a win-win for the customer. That's so important. I
Yeah.
think in anybody's books, actually.
No, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll kind of wrap up with this question, but how are you forming those connections with the right buyers, and what is your current outreach strategy?
That okay. I have to just collect my
You're
thoughts on
good.
that just a little bit, Megan. Um, Our current outreach, we've gone through a bit of a valley last year where we had some real struggles and that, and it's every startup problem. So you get to a point where then all of a sudden, okay, well, it's almost a reset. So we did quite a bit of outreach to the municipal wastewater, and again that fell on some deaf ears and that type of thing. But what we're seeing right now is the engineering community is reaching out to us because it really comes to that groundswell I was talking about earlier about the environmental impacts, the greenhouse gas releases, the H2S problems, all those things, those odor issues they're getting odor complaints. So we're getting a lot more pull from everywhere, and that's what we're at right now. As our company is, we're getting more pull than we're actually doing on outreach. And the amount of energy that it takes to accomplish some of the things that we're doing, when we're treating a old refinery site with contaminated soil and hydrocarbons. I first talked to them back in 2021, and now we're just getting it commissioned in 2025. So that pull takes time because of the. I'd like to put it to this is that because of the it's unbelievable. Put it that way. It's unbelievable that nature can actually do all the things that we've always wanted these other things to do. But in terms
kind of that too good to be true skepticism,
we've been up against that quite a bit. Understanding what we can do, and that's just unbelievable. And of course, there's some other challenges and regulatory challenges and that kind of stuff. But we're winning.
But most people aren't microbiologists, so they,
Yeah, exactly. And so we're winning those. I don't want to use the word fights, but we're winning those rounds. Put it that way. We're winning those rounds in terms of regulatory and understanding the regulations and making sure that we understand what this is. This is microbial. If you can approve a chemical that will kill everything, why would you approve a natural solution that only propagates? Our microbial consortium promotes plant health and growth. So we're not out there killing stuff. It's not a biocide. It's not a algicide or anything like that. It is natural solutions.
Well, I love it, and obviously this is so necessary, and it's gonna. I hope you can grow so much that everybody is using it, and our water is going to be cleaner than ever, and soil and all of that. So thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you so much, Megan. It is my pleasure to be here, I'm hoping too that we'll take on more ground. I really look, at some point, once our patents are completed, it will be that there's more of us because there's more market than we'll
you
be
can.
Able to
that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, love it.
Right.
Well, thanks again for joining, Darrell.
Thanks so much, Marty. Bye-bye.
If this episode got you thinking differently about how we solve environmental problems, I'd love to hear from you. One of the biggest takeaways from this conversation is that sometimes the most powerful solutions aren't mechanical or chemical. They're biological. We copy nature. They're adaptive and they're collaborative. If you're building, investing in, or working inside climate tech, I hope this episode inspires you to think about how nature-aligned innovation might be part of your next breakthrough. As always, if you enjoyed this episode of Green Disruptors, please follow, share it with someone in your network, leave a review. It helps us amplify the voices shaping the future. See you next time.